Hey guys, COVID has changed our life in so many ways, with real estate included. Today I'm going to tell you about what it's like when you're buying a home during COVID. So before COVID, if you're thinking about buying a home, you probably just go on all the website, look for open house, and you hit those that you're interested in, right? But now, during the COVID, open house are not allowed anymore. So what do? So first off, there's no open houses during COVID. Every showing has to be by appointment only, and we'll try to spread out all the home viewer. We have to follow the social distancing. First step, you need to sign a COVID disclosure to confirm that you are not sick and you agree to follow all the social distancing procedure, not only to protect yourself and also protect seller, because not all homes are vacant. Some are still owner occupied. And with that, we need to have that paperwork before we can schedule any private showing at all. And second thing is that you definitely need a pre-approval, because before you can just freely walk into the open house without any pre-approval. But now with the COVID, you need to have pre-approval and COVID disclosure even before you see a house. Pre-approval is you need to talk to your lender, so they will do a pre-qualification, make sure you are a legit, ready, able buyer. You probably have some ideas that you feel like you save up how much money and how much home you can buy, but you need a mortgage officer to do a detailed calculation so you'll know how much monthly payment you actually can handle and how does that translate into how much home you can actually afford to buy. To get pre-approved only a couple of days, and most lender now they have an online website. If you can provide all the information, it can take less than a day. You can do your pre-approval before you find a realtor to schedule that private showing for you, or you can find your realtor. The realtor will be helping you to find a loan officer to get that done for you. Now you got a pre-approval letter, then you need to find a realtor to represent you and to coordinate all those paperwork and scheduling in order to have a private showing of the home you're interested in. Especially during COVID time, the buyer cannot just go like you used to go to open house just by yourself. You need to have an agent accompany you, because your agent actually is responsible making sure everyone is following social distancing, and also we need to sanitize after all the showing and lock them everything properly after show. Finally, you find the home you want and you want to make an offer on it. Why do you need an agent for that? Nowadays with COVID, there's more and more compliances and paperwork we need to follow. So you definitely need a professional to do it the right way to protect your best interests. In reality, I haven't seen any buyer go straight representing themselves, because it's just too complicated and all the regulation, all the compliance change day by day. In my experience, seller actually doesn't want to deal with anyone, doesn't have a professional representation, especially during COVID time with all the changes going on and all the compliances required. Right now in Southern California, it's all seller's market. That means whenever you're making an offer, one thing for sure, you have lots of competition. There will be a bidding war. From you see the home, we always advise buyer to right away to make an offer, because the first offer or the earlier offer will have the first mover advantages. A lot of sellers, like I mentioned before, they're also doing the balancing act too. They need to sell current home in order to buy. So if you see something you like, I highly recommend it to put an offer right away. That way it's also good for you. So you'll find out soon if you even get a chance to sit at the table to negotiate an offer at all. If not, so you can move on to the next. And during COVID time, like in Irvine, it's definitely a seller's market. What does that mean to you as a home buyer? Your buyer's agent will play a very critical role to help you stand out in those multiple offer bidding war situation. For example, when we write an offer, if you cannot outbid your competition on the price point, there are actually other things you can make your offer more attractive, make you a more desirable buyer in the eyes of sellers. For example, the seller might need to buy their next replacement home. Of course, everybody wanna pocket more money, but sometimes it's about how you can accommodate their timeline. For example, they might need you to help them, let them stay in the home let them rent it back even after the closing. Your price point might not be the highest one. Maybe you can close faster so you eliminate the uncertainty for the seller, or you offer to be flexible in terms of your moving date. You'll let the seller finding their new home stay in there for a month or two. That's all the things only a experienced or active buyer's agent can help you, because it's more than just the price you're writing to help you get the home you want. That is true before, but now it's even more so in COVID, because everything, it just takes longer and more difficult. So it's worth having someone that is experienced. Like for example, I'll tell you, like even before we write in the offer, I wanna make sure we tighten everything up. Like they might already come up with a lender, and I always go check on lender, because nowadays the market is hot, everybody's buying home. There are more people are doing refinancing, so there's a lot of glitch on the lender side. Their capacity cannot keep up with the demand, because their lender doing both two categories. One is home purchase loan, the other is a refi. Now there's a big chunk, like an influx of so many home buyers try to refi their mortgage credit, because right now the mortgage rate is at a historical low. What does that mean? Why you need to care for that? Because you share the capacity of the lender's capacity. Even after we get a pre-approved, I need to be in constant contact with the lender to check on their current a turnaround time. Maybe you got pre-approved 2 weeks ago. They tell you that we can close in 30 days. But now it has changed because they have too much cases. It caused delay. Everything's changing day by day. You don't just take it for granted, assume what's being approved, be agreed on, can still remain valid. So it just takes more work to make sure. As a realtor, we follow up, check in with the lender at the 2 or 3 milestone days. But now, just because all the refi mortgage and all the home purchase, the volume's so high, I try to check in with them just every couple of days, just to make sure. If your realtor is not doing that, your deal probably higher risk of falling apart. Because if you can identify any behind or issue, you will probably still have time to try to save it. If you just assume everything is a safe, smooth sale, by the time it's funding day, it might be too late to save the case. What are the chances get accepted right now? So out of all the buyer I represented, on average, I think across different price points, on average, there will be 7 to 8 offers on each home. I would say in today's market, how strong your offer is and how professional, solid your buyer's agent is are equally important to make your overall presentation stronger. You'll become a stronger offer in front of the seller. Because if you've been following the market, you notice even the market is super high, it's a seller's market, but it's very dynamic. A lot of times the deal fall out of escrow. That's the least thing seller wants, because it's a waste of their time and also hurt the perception of this house. People may start wondering that, is there something wrong about this property? How come it doesn't go through? And every time a property go back on the market, it just prolong the days on market and it costs more time and resources to remarketing and promote it. This definitely happens more often during COVID time than before. After the offer accepted, the immediate next step is to do the home inspection. That's when you need a very experienced and a knowledgeable agent to help you out, because there's no perfect home. Even for a brand new home, there are always some things not perfect. When you receive the home inspection report, it might feel very overwhelming. It's like a 30-40 pages booklet, and it's the inspector's job to point out, no matter big or small, those imperfections. How do you know? Because you don't buy home every day. How do you know how serious that problem is? What are the critical material when you should ask for a credit repair from the seller? If you ask for too much, you might upset the seller. That's not a smart move during the seller's market. If you ask too little, then your interests are not well protected. That's another reason you need someone experienced and capable to help you make sure to balance that in order that the deal can go through while protecting your interests. After inspection is done, then the next phase is appraisal. After appraisal, then we are moving to the final stage of funding, then closing. So as realtor, we actually do a lot of behind the scene works that most people don't know. For example, after the offer is accepted, that's actually where all the real work started. It takes a lot of coordination, and given the COVID time, everything takes longer and the market's so hot, it's hard to book all the vendors. As a realtor, we deal with the many multiple parties, like your lender, your inspector, appraiser, and home warranty, title rep, escrow. Everything takes longer, and every small thing can cause delay or mess things up. But I would highly recommend to use someone has a local insight, know-how, because they will have a pulse on the community. They'll know what's going on, because a lot of factors in real estate is very dynamic, especially during COVID times. I can throw a couple things that even like in Irvine, the school boundary is dynamic. It's not permanent. So let's say the house A 2 years ago might be going to the high school you want to go. It's not always necessarily the case, because it depends on the local area, the demographic, how many kids are born that year. It's shifting, constantly shifting. And also, for example, for the HOA, it's changing too. And for example, recently in Irvine, there's wildfire scare, even though there's no single home was damaged or impacted by the fire. But those are the things that you need to have some local agent and who's active in there, so they'll have the most timely knowledge. During COVID time, things are changing every day, and how every city, every school district handle COVID is different. So you definitely want someone is specialized in the area that you're interested in. If you're thinking about buying a home in Irvine, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I will help you move to Irvine and find your dream home.